If you're watching this on YouTube, I just want to let you know that if you'd prefer to listen to this episode as a podcast, you can click the link down in the description, which will take you to our Spotify, where we will be uploading all of our longer review type videos as podcasts. And if you'd rather keep watching the longer videos here on the channel, that is fine too, because in addition to being on the Spotify, they will continue to be posted on this YouTube channel. Welcome back to the Plocast. We're not late at all. This review is not late at all. Don't worry about it. Um, but here we are with our review for Ep.5 of the Bad Batch Rampage. Sorry that this is going up like 2 hours before the next episode is dropping. This probably won't even have a slideshow. I might just slap it up like with some normal background. Um, but yeah, definitely we still have stuff to talk about, even if not a lot of people see this because it's so late. We still like to, have everything out there that we've said. Um, but yeah, Rampage. First off, probably just I'll start with we got some more returning characters or species at least. We got the Zygerians, who are in an arc of the Clone Wars. If we want to start with them, how did you feel about them?
Again, always cool to have familiar faces or familiar races, I guess.
Oh,
Yeah. Um, but yeah, again, they're slavers. I guess that's a big part of their culture. We saw that in the Clone Wars. That
mhm.
whole arc with Anakin and the clones and all of them, and their like electric whips, which I think are
Oh
pretty
yeah.
cool. But yeah, they're here again. They're they have a bunch of slaves on top of the Rancor. So we had that little pun where they're like, "Oh, let's get the little alien girl." I forget the name. Um, and then and she's like, "Wait, I'm not.
Uh,
It's the
it's
Rancor."
yeah, it's a Rancor. It's
Yeah,
not me.
but it was pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. They go to the planet Ord Mantell, which I didn't know much. I've heard it before, but I believe that's from like a Darth Maul comic. I think he when he was working with like the crime syndicates and all that, there was like a battle there at some point, I believe.
Mhm.
But the Zygerians' homeworld, obviously, like once the Republic stepped in and stopped their slave, trading again, it all kind of fell apart for them. So I guess they're just, trying to pick it back up, trying to get back to where they were by getting growing their slaves again. Because, like you said, that's like their entire culture is just enslaving people.
Yeah. Yep.
Um, Speaking of that, I think I said it in the actual video, but I thought it was cool how like someone like Omega would have no idea what that is, and I thought it was cool that they actually took the time out to have somebody explain to her, like what being a slave entails, and how this is wrong. And I believe you said it at one point. If I'm thinking back, you were like something about how kind of like the clones are also slaves or something like that.
Gonna
I
say that.
do I
Yeah.
do remember I remember you saying that. If you want to elaborate.
They were kind of like, "Oh, it's when you buy and sell people, and they have to work against their will and stuff like that." I was like, "Hmm, sounds kinda
Hmm.
like,
I wonder.
clone soldiers being sold to the Republic to fight in a war they may not agree with.
Yeah.
Now, kinda universally, all the clones, were, gung ho about the Republic. They were literally like I remember from all the battlefronts, like, "For the Republic!" Um, we know Cut is a deserter. He obviously disagreed with the war, but I feel like maybe a missed opportunity. Maybe they'll explore it more. But Omega Cut like could have been like, oh, like us, like because in her naivete, she could kind of like see that because she literally has no idea what slavery was up until like now. Remember,
Yeah.
she discovered dirt like 2 episodes prior. Um, so yeah, like I said, like oh, kind of like the situation they're all in. Which could have been cool to see. I can also like that's kinda like going into a lot of like, I don't know, nuance and stuff that maybe Star Wars doesn't wanna explore. I could also see that, like, it might not be
Yeah.
that relevant for Bad Batch, but it is like a kinda like funny thing when you think about it.
That would've been hilarious. She's like, "Oh, just like you guys, just like us." And they're like,
They're
no.
like, "Wait a
Wait.
second."
Wait a minute."
Yeah.
That would be funny. Yes, Omega, though, she, is continuing to show her, I guess, use or abilities and whatnot. There's a funny scene where everyone's debating over who Sid actually is, where is Sid? Maybe maybe he left because he was like, oh, he was scared, or Tech's like, oh, maybe it's the health code violations. Omega just walks right over. He's like,
I don't
you're Sid.
understand.
Figures it out just like that, and they're
Yeah.
all just standing there, just like what? um, but yeah, there's that. She's got her own comm link.
Awesome.
She's decorated her little clone toy, as what she would want her Bad Batch armor to look like. Now she's a Bad Batcher,
Bad
which is
bitch.
very cool. There was the other thing. She picked up like the that Zygerian bow weapon thing. So like she's kind of like gearing up, I guess you could put it. Uh, I kind of hope that we get more of that. I hope she, starts becoming more of a part of the team.
I also wanna throw in how she was riding on the Rancor. Muchi is the name too.
Poochie.
But yeah, she was riding in on town on the Rancor too. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's good to see Omega kind
I
of
mean,
maturing into her role.
yeah. Um, one th- one thing that I'm kind of hoping, like for this one, I really didn't have much about the Bad Batch at all, like the other members themselves. We're kind of getting to the point where I'm like, okay, this was fun. This episode was fun. I liked it, but I want them to get back into like the characters because
Yes.
essentially, other than the first episode and what we've seen of Crosshair since then, that's mostly just been filler, and the only one who's been developing as a character is Omega. The other members have been pretty much the same this entire time, and it's called the Bad Batch. It's not called Omega. It's not called Crosshair. But I kind of want to see them, like change or just do something other than remain exactly the same. Um, like, I want them to actually grow as like the most we've seen of that, I guess, would be Hunter, who's trying to learn how to handle Omega and, like, how he's supposed to deal with this, but that's mostly just, like, subtle hints, and we haven't really, seen much from them. If this was, like, a full, like, 22 episode season, I'd be like, "Sure, maybe," but I think it's only, like, what, 14 or 16, it's in the teens, the amount of episodes we're getting,
Yep.
and we don't know if there's gonna be a season 2. I want there to be more like more growth between the members and more instead of just like, just oh, today we're gonna go do this thing, sort of Clone Warsy filler type episodes. Because this is not Clone Wars. It's same style, same voice, and all that. We joke it's basically season 8, but it's
Yeah.
not. They're two completely different shows. Not completely, but they're two different shows in what they're trying to do. Clone Wars is Clone Wars is filler. Like the whole
In
purpose
its
of it
nature.
is to
Yeah.
fill in the gaps. Um, but this show is about this specific group of characters, and we haven't gotten much in the way of them like actually being characters. Like they have their personality traits. We know like, oh, Hunter's he can track and he's like, quiet. Crosshair's like, oh, he's turning bad, he's the sniper guy. Tech is smart, he knows how to use compute. But like none of them have really had like a big emotional moment or change or in like ideology or something like that. That's kind of what I was expecting before we came into this. I feel like we should be getting a little more of that moving forward.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. I think, like, we're 5 episodes in now, and I feel like the last kind of 4 have been filler. Um But, like, when I look at episode 5 or episode 4 or something like that, if I just look at that episode, I like it. Like, I like going, like,
Yeah.
finding Zygerians, having little tie-ins with the Rancor and stuff like that. It's all cool. Like, I love everything about it. But when you hit me with back to back to back episodes of, like, what in essence in essence is filler, it, like, come on. Like, I need like, this next episode, episode 6, I guess we can get into predictions later, but I need, like, I need
Yeah.
Crosshair back. I need the Empire. I need the Kaminoans back. Like,
Yeah.
I need, like, progress in the
Yeah.
overarching story. And like you said, more character development, especially, like, I think Tech for me, like, he's the computer
Yeah.
guy, and that's kinda it. Like, I can see
Yeah.
Wrecker a little bit. He's been growing with Omega. He has this whole head thing, so alright, they're exploring him. Hunter, of course, his relationship with Omega and just being the leader, they're exploring him. Crosshair, his whole turn, okay, they're
Oh yeah.
him. Echo, I could see a little bit. Maybe he's in the same boat as Tech, but Tech for me is like he cannot just be the computer guy the whole series. Like that's like a huge letdown for me if they do not explore him in some way. I want to see
Yeah,
him because he doesn't have a lot of motion behind his things. He's always like very cool, very calm. I remember like the ship was crashing or something. He's like, I don't. He like that's just his personality. But I want to see him like develop, mature. I want to like I don't know, maybe take Omega under his wing in the same way Hunter has or something.
yeah,
But yeah, just trying to reinforce like all the Bad Batch in general aren't developing, but I really need to see Tech. Not, if not next episode, like in general, over the course of the season, something else besides hacking a computer.
yeah,
That's been on my chest for a little
yeah,
bit now. I want to because after again like episode after episode of filler, like okay, I like the episodes. I love watching Bad Batch, but I need
yeah.
that little extra.
Yeah,
Um.
I mean, every reaction we do, like, we're enjoying it. It's,
Oh
good
yeah.
content, but we have very limited time here, and to get like the real, actual, good sort of storytelling, we gotta hurry it up here, because we're already like what, like a third into the show, and basically
Yeah.
nothing has happened. It
We
seems
kind
like
of.
for the most part, everything is just happening around the Bad Batch. They're just there, and whatever happens, happens, and they deal with it.
Yeah.
They like, other than like, "Oh, we're gonna go here," and then they get there, and then boom, thing out of their control happens, and they just gotta deal with it. Like, even if it's just like, just little bits sprinkled in through like a filler episode like this. Something like this, you can still have a filler, but like if you have little character moments that, and they can make it as long as they want. I said before I don't mind the time length as long as they fit the story into it. But
Hmm.
if you want to push it up like 5 or so minutes and add like an emotional scene between two of the members or something, then you can do that. Maybe have like Tech, who seems to be one emotion all the time. Maybe he gets really upset at something. He gets really mad and he like punches a wall. And
Yeah.
like everybody looks at him and they're all confused, like what was happening, But just like things that show that these characters are changing in any way. Because if it sticks to the way it's been now, it's just things are happening around them and they're basically the same character from their 4 episode Clone Wars arc.
Yeah.
Which was cool as a 4 episode Clone Wars arc, because that's the Clone Wars, that's not the Bad Batch. This is where I feel like they should be moving on from that, moving up from that little Clone Wars bit, because that's like your introduction to them. Okay, you learn their personalities, what they're like, why they're different, what they're all about, Clone Force 99. And then in their own show is when you would, start to expand on each of them as people instead of just like a caricature of like, oh, he's the big guy, he's the smart guy. I feel like we haven't gotten enough of that yet.
One thing I do want to concede, I don't think we need like huge story development, huge story like it would get overwhelming if it's like only huge story developments. But like I still like we're due for like some kind of ramp up,
Mhm.
some kind of development. Because again, we're on episode 5, like you said, that's pretty much a third of the way through the show. And kind of we're still in the setup phase. Like you would think we're probably trying to get like a rising action or something or getting close to like a big event, but really it's just Order 66 happened and our Bad Batch is going through space trying to find someone
They're
or
just
something
planet hopping.
and they're just planet hopping right now.
Yeah,
Which again, like I'll take an episode of filler. We like these episodes, but it's
yeah.
I truly feel that episode 6 is probably going to deliver on everything we're asking for.
I hope
Um,
so.
yeah, like I said, I hope so. Because if one more filler episode, I might like I might get really tired. I might not like that episode,
Yeah,
even though it could be a good one.
yeah,
So
yeah. Um, One thing that's not helping with this, I love returning characters, returning stuff, but I feel like we're getting to the point where it's getting to be a little bit much. I don't have everything off the top of my head, but we've already had, like, we know Rex is coming back. Fennec has showed up.
mm.
This Bib Fortuna, for seemingly no reason other than to say, "Hey, look, it's Bib Fortuna," which is exactly what we did, to be fair.
Yeah.
But him, like other thing, like Saw Gerrera was in like a 2 minute scene. And a lot of those are fine on their own, but and there's other things that I'm probably missing that I've forgotten about that but like it seems like they're just kind of using, especially with Fennec. Seems like they're just using the reputation of Fennec from Mandalorian, which is a lot more, well, not necessarily well, yeah, it is more popular.
Oh yeah, no, it
Um,
is. Yeah.
it's like they're just kind of using that to get people to watch this. When I think you shouldn't be trying to make people watch this. You should just be making it good so that the
Yeah.
people who want to watch it do. Like it seems that we need to get away from, you know, having returning characters just because people will go, "Hey, that's blank." Um, and like it's the line between just shoving someone in there, between that and they're actually important to the story and they actually help the story is, I don't know exactly where to put that. Like we still don't know what Rex, if Rex just pops in and he's like, "Hey, we're doing this thing. We got to kill this blue blue blue," whatever.
Yeah.
I'll
Yep.
still like it, but at the same time, it's like, okay, well, you're just using Rex's name to get people to watch this. If he becomes like not an integral part, but like he has something to offer to the characters themselves or the story, then it's a different case. It's like actually adding to it. But like so far, like we've just had repeated thing after repeated thing, and pretty soon I think it's gonna get a little tiring. Because it's supposed to be about the Bad Batch, not the Bad Batch plus, "Oh, look, my dad knows that guy." Or like, "Oh, look, this is like from X." Like our biggest reaction to the last episode was the thing with the Rancor, which A, we weren't even right about really, and B, has nothing to do with the story at all. If you take that whole thing out of the episode and just have it where Sid tells them the information they needed, nothing changes at all.
Hmm. Hmm.
That shouldn't I feel like that shouldn't be the biggest part of the episode. I don't know. I just kind of hope that we kind of get away from that. Like what we saw with episode 1 with the slower, breakdown of like these people talking. We saw the how the group kind of was splitting apart with Crosshair, just stuff like that.
Yeah. I I kind of want to go on two kind of hopping off points from
Go
what you
for it.
said. First off, like me and Evan, we're huge Star Wars fans. Huge. You show me Luke Skywalker next episode, and I'm freaking out no matter what. I don't care that he's a child right now. I'm still freaking out. But we're also huge TV fans. We want to see like good television or good cinema, if you will. We want to see a good story. We want them to go off and explore the Bad Batch as a group. Yes, if you give us a Rancor and you give us Bib Fortuna, we're gonna freak out.
Yeah.
That's who we are. We're gonna fall victim to that. But when we have time, like we do now, to just reflect and say, wait, as a whole, nothing really happened. Like you said, you take the Rancor out, make it like, I don't know, some other alien species. That episode is very, I don't know. I don't have that reaction
Yeah.
moment.
That was our biggest reaction in the
Yeah.
episode.
So I like you're saying, they need to explore the Bad Batch as a group more. And my second kind of thing, I want to compare the Bad Batch to Mandalorian because our two of the most recent Star Wars, I guess, adventures, if you will. But Mandalorian season one, they literally they fleshed out Mandalorian his own little world. They did have people come back. They had I guess kind of Baby Yoda, if you will. Grogu is the same species as Yoda.
Yeah.
I don't mind the little bits of Star Wars nostalgia because I love Star Wars. I love the universe. I love the familiarity of it, and it feels grounded when you bring in like returning characters. I don't mind seeing Saw Gerrera, but if you're just gonna plug Saw Gerrera in and have him say, "Hey, we're rebels," and then he's gone, it's like watered down Star Wars, which is what I don't like. I think Mandalorian season 2, we kinda got a bit of that. We had a lot of returning characters, but
Yeah.
overall, I think they still handled it pretty well.
Yeah.
Of course, like our season finale reaction, we're gonna lose our
Oh man.
cool if we see Luke Skywalker come like that. But for Mandalorian, it made sense. He was searching for a Jedi. He found Ahsoka. Ahsoka says, "Hey, I can't train him. Find someone else." Luke Skywalker comes. He's probably the only Jedi alive, maybe one or two others. So it makes sense for the story. Bad Batch, I don't, Bib Fortuna coming in. Okay, I mean, I guess yeah, Jabba's a big like ringleader in the galaxy. Sure, it makes sense, but do we really need that? I'd much rather them show us like you're saying, Bad Batch. That's the title of the show, not Bad Batch and Friends. Bad Batch. So that's what I want to explore. That's what I thought we were gonna get. We first episode amazing. Easily, me and Evan both still our top episode of
Yeah.
the season. Because that's exactly what we got. We had Order 66, which again is something familiar to us, but we see it through the Bad Batch.
Yeah.
And that's what I want. Like I want familiar, but I want it through the Bad Batch. Or me and Evan both, rather. I don't want to like just
Oh
me,
yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, like everything was like I love like if they bring Ahsoka in the next episode, we're gonna lose our stuff in the reaction. But at the end of the day, if it's not gonna make good television, if it's not gonna make sense for the story, leave it out. You know?
Yeah. It's that in the moment, instinctive, I love that character thing.
He said the thing like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like in the moment, you see a character you know and love from something else, your immediate instinct is, "Okay, I know who that is. I did not expect them to show up. I
Mhm.
really like them. I'm happy about this." But
Yeah,
afterwards, when you look back and think of after it settles in, after the surprise, and you're like, what was even the point? Because
yeah.
like after right at the end of the reaction, I had this episode like really up there with the others. I'm gonna be honest, this one kind of dropped for me upon rewatch and upon thinking about it. I think it's my least favorite. Not that I disliked it really, but out of the everything we've gotten so far, I think it's my least favorite.
Mhm.
One of my favorite parts of the first episode was the little back and like how we saw Crosshair committing Order 6, wanting to commit Order 66, and Hunter trying to stop him. That little, inner team like fighting that sort of like I guess grapple for power, I guess. I don't Not really power. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but like that interchange between them I thought was one of the coolest parts. And recently it's just been, quip or funny little line and then ooh,
Yeah.
we're the Bad Batch and look, there's a Rancor. Um, but I don't know. But you get the point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's move on to something more positive. Uh,
Right.
just some
Needed to be
some cool
said,
stuff.
though.
Yeah. I really like Sid actually. This I thought it was cool that like nobody even knew that Sid was there, and like she just was like, "Yep, that's me." Seems really casual, I guess, about it. There was a lot of cool stuff in her office. She had like I pointed out there was a Phase 2 clone helmet on the wall.
I missed that, but yeah,
Yeah,
you called it. Yep.
and there was also a clone pilot helmet on a shelf. There was a white Boba Fett helmet, like his prototype armor, which was all
Prototype?
white. Yeah, in the back, like left corner. And like above her desk was two of the exact same type of blasters that Jango Fett used. I forget what they're called, but
Very
um,
cool.
yeah, but there was a set of those above her desk, I think, and I'm sure there was plenty of other stuff. But that those were just the things that I saw, and I'm sure there's more. But yeah, Sid, pretty cool. Like there's a new character, so and the ending was left kind of ominous. He's like, "Oh, you seem to be pretty important targets. I sure hope that whatever, like I don't know, nobody finds out you're here or something like that." I forget what
Mhm.
she said, but that could definitely lead to something. I guess I don't
Yeah. Yeah.
know. The big thing with the Rancor, uh, apparently we find out in the Aftermath trilogy of books that the Rancor's name is Pateesa or Pateesa, yeah.
Yeah.
Not
And not
Muchi.
Mucci, yeah.
So either this is just, Bib and Jabba just are fond of Rancors and they, like them, keep as pets. Maybe Muchi, like maybe Bib was just selling Muchi or, something along those lines. Or which the first thing I would prefer, honestly, is just leave it as it is. Or Disney is going in and retconning more stuff that they don't need to. Because I feel like I didn't know that there was already an established name, which is why I liked the idea. But if there's already an established name and it's already a character, once you give it a name, it's like more of a character in this series of books that people really like. I know Aftermath, a lot of people like that stuff, like that series. Then you don't need to go in and mess with it. Like
Yeah.
I mean, that's not really a big deal, because it wasn't. It was Muchi. It's a different one, so I'm fine with how they went about it. But I don't know, just interesting connection, and that kind of draws back to then what's the point of having Bib there? Just for like, if it's not the same Rancor, that's even less of a reason for Bib
Yeah.
to be there. Um, but yeah, But I don't know. Muchi was still cool. I like seeing like the adolescent Rancor just like absolutely just demolishing Zygerians, throwing
Yep.
people around, slamming his head into the building. That was really cool.
Yeah. And then again, I mentioned earlier, but seeing Omega riding into town on it,
Oh
super
man.
cool, super
Yeah,
cool.
my favorite part with Muchi is when he like when I think it's like up at the top of the tower, one of the Zygerians tries to use the trap and it misses and like turns around and like headbutts the tower and the guy like falls off and just boom like crumples onto the ground. It's really cool. But good action. They're keeping up with the action. I think. I
Mhm.
hope we get a little more though. Eventually down the line, but so far it's been pretty decent. I like the scenes that we're getting, and I don't know the sort of. I guess it's similar to Clone Wars in style because it's obviously animated the same way, but there's a lot of action scenes in Clone Wars that are just great. One of the best action scenes in Star Wars by far is landing at Point Rain in the second Battle of Geonosis in the Clone Wars. That whole
Ah,
episode is just oh, that's one of my favorite episodes. Good thing those
absolutely.
bugs can't aim,
Yeah.
and then the ship blows up.
Yep.
But yeah, good action, great animation again. I didn't catch anything specific. I don't know if you did, but again, the animation is pretty good. Um, I don't know if I like it. I feel like Clone Wars season 7. It's hard to compare. They're basically the same thing, but like I
Mhm.
saw posts on Instagram where there's like little details that are kind of fuzzy and just some weird how it's not as polished as it was before. I don't
Oh,
know. It looks
okay.
pretty good to me.
Oh,
I don't
yeah,
know
I
if you
love it.
noticed. Yeah, yeah.
I love it.
Um, what the big one huge thing. We know how Echo's helmet works now. We saw him put the helmet on. It
Yup.
goes on over the little headpiece, and then the lower back trim like pushes in. So like it sticks
Yeah,
out so it can fit around and then it like closes in. So like he can't just pull it off without that moving or put it on without
yeah.
that moving, which is cool. There's a video on YouTube of it at this point. A lot of people have seen it. I think it's hilarious how people were talking. We were even talking like I was like
Yeah.
how does he even I don't know if I said it in episode 1, but I when I saw he went to put the helmet on and then Omega was in the way, I was like how does he put that on? And then
They
they literally answered it for us.
they've definitely had, like, they don't make these week out, like, they've made the season long in advance. Do you
Oh
think
yeah.
they, like, did this on purpose? So, like, people would
I
notice,
don't
like,
know.
"Wait, that doesn't make sense, that doesn't make sense." And then episode 5, "Oh, now they show it."
Maybe
Like,
I don't
I
know,
think it's really funny
had
how it
to
worked out.
yeah, they probably had, like, a deadline, and, they finished that episode before they made that animation model, and then
Yeah,
they just
something like
said, "Oh, we'll
that.
save that for later," because yeah, just I
Cause,
guess,
cause there's no way they see online, like, "Oh, that doesn't make
uh
sense." Like, they can't make feedback that quick, like, they can't go in and remodel that. They already knew how the helmet worked, but maybe it was like you were saying, they made those episodes first, they're like, "Yo, we'll figure it out later."
yeah,
But
yeah,
I liked how that played out. I like how we finally see.
yeah. It's so weird. Because they yeah, like you said, they definitely had already made the episodes well before they came out,
Yeah, yeah.
but, at the same time, it's like it ended up working out, it's fine.
Oh, yeah.
It was just people just messing around, not really serious, like, "Oh, I can't believe they didn't animate that," but they
Yeah,
did, so it's fine.
yeah.
Um, we got Gonky, the Gonk droid. Gonky is my new favorite Gonk droid, just because he has a name, and, like, I don't know, something about, like, it's like Omega was like, "Gonky, hide," and he just went plunk, like Wally,
Yeah,
he just
yep.
shut down
Does,
and, like, turned into a box, and that was just so great. He didn't move at all, he just plunk.
are there any other named Gonk droids? I think he might, to my knowledge, be the only one.
I mean, there's probably some that have, like that are named as in, like,
L4,
R2-D2, like, they
1,
have their
yeah,
numbers, but none that have, like, a
very
funny
cool. Gonky.
made up name, Gonky. It's literally just
Love
Gonk and then a Y at the end, or, like, EY or something.
Yeah, it's
Um,
perfect.
that's great, I love Gonky. And Wrecker just constantly using Gonky as, like, a
Oh,
weight
dude.
to just
Yep,
exercise with.
repping out a
Oh,
couple bench
yeah,
presses with them.
yeah. What are you thinking here? Clearly, there's something up with Wrecker and his head because they keep going back to it. What are you thinking here?
Honestly, there's no way it's an accident. I think, in my opinion, it's a false flag. I think
Oh,
I think they're gonna hype it up, like, or I mean, they already have, but nothing. I don't think anything's gonna come with it. Or
okay.
I know I made the prediction earlier, he might get right on the verge, and then they take the chip out, but I don't think, no matter what happens, that Wrecker turns all the way, despite all the foreshadowing. Might be a little bit of a hot take, but I think he stays on the right side.
Okay. That's definitely interesting. We could get a lot of cool, moments out of that. Like we could get something similar to Rex before he turned, but instead of turning all the way, Wrecker's like really close. He's like shaking or
And he
something, and
snaps
he's like
out.
crying, and then he breaks free or something like that, just because of
Mhm.
how modified he is. So he would be different. But yeah, that could definitely be cool. I hope it just doesn't end up. I hope they just at least something comes of it, like what a lot of people are thinking where he turns or what you're saying where he gets close. I hope they don't just, like, ignore it and just, like, have left it there with absolutely no nobody
Yeah,
says anything or nothing actually comes of it. Um, Not in the terms of, like, what you were saying where nothing comes of it as in he doesn't turn, but where they don't even get to
they
that
don't
point where,
address
like
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
it just nothing is said about it at all.
Mhm.
All right, that is most of the notes that I had pretty much. Oh no, there was one other thing, one other little reference we had. At one point, Sid says something about the Bounty Hunters Guild when talking about Fennec,
Yes.
which is another could be used as another example of like more stuff they're using to just bring back and give name recognition. But things like that, I kind of don't mind because it's not like it's gonna be the Bad Batch versus the Bounty Hunters Guild. It's not like Grief Karg is gonna walk up or like
Yeah.
whoever he probably wouldn't be in charge of it at this point in time. But whoever's like how it wouldn't be like just like a little name drop like that.
Fine.
I don't mind that
Yep,
because
perfectly
that's
fine.
doesn't take up time, isn't involved in the story, other than just being what the thing is named. Because obviously the guild is involved here with Fennec, but nothing like too big. Watch that becomes like the biggest plot point moving
Oh, yeah.
forward. It's just like they
It's
go to the
the
Bounty
rest of the
Hunters Guild.
season is them
Um,
versus, like, the guild.
yeah. And one thing you said earlier that I've been thinking about was like getting back aside from the character growth is the actual story itself. I hope we get back to the story. It's been a while since we've seen the Kaminoans, Tarkin, or Crosshair at all.
Yes.
And from the very first episode, it seems like that's gonna be, like, the other side of the story. It was like Tarkin and his program trying to get recruits, and the Kaminoans trying to stop him, and them using I kinda bunched that as one whole thing, Tarkin to Crosshair to the Kaminoans is all like a big,
Yeah,
circle,
yeah.
um, but, like, we got a little bit of Crosshair in, like, episode 3, I think, and that one shot of the Kaminoans in episode 3 or was that 2? I don't remember.
I
Um,
think Kaminoans were 3, Crosshair was 2, I think.
right.
Yeah.
No, 2 was the one with Cut. So, so 2 and 3 had Crosshair, or was 4 the one with they were on the asteroid? That's the Cut one I'm talking
Okay.
about.
We might need to go back and
I don't know, but
I might
the point is
there's not enough?
yeah,
Yeah.
they're like not even like B plot. It's like D plot. Like
Oh, yeah.
it's been just just these side missions essentially. Um, that's there's another example, like in a video game. Side quests are fun. They're there for a purpose because you do them when you want something to do. Like in Red Dead
Sides.
Redemption 2, like you could just do side quests for literally hours and have a blast. But you're not moving the story. Wow, that's a perfect analogy that I just randomly thought of. But like
Yeah.
Red Dead 2, you just do all the side missions, you help every person you see, you get money or whatever, but that none of that is really pushing the main plot. So, it's kind of like this, do I want more just fun, whatever stuff, or do I want an actual story here?
Yep.
Yeah. And yeah, that's pretty much everything I had. Any last second details or anything you wanted to say here?
I do wanna get your prediction for, I guess, next episode, um, if you could even make any. I know me, I kinda hit on it before where I think we are gonna get back to some Crosshair action or
Okay.
my main prediction is I think Rex is coming.
I was gonna say the same thing
Okay. Wait,
because
go ahead, go ahead.
um I could be remembering this wrong, but the last time I watched the trailer, when they were with Rex, I think either Wrecker or Omega had that Zygerian bow thing. One of them was holding that. So
Ah,
that's the only reason I think it could be next, unless she like keeps it around.
yeah,
That's just where I went because when I saw her pick it up, I was like thinking of the trailer in my head.
there
Um,
you go.
but yeah, predictions. I have no clue, honestly, because if
Mhm.
it's not the Rex thing, then I have no idea where they could be going.
Another side quest?
Um, yeah, Sid was talking to them about potentially becoming regular, like bounty hunters, or
Mhm.
for her. And she also mentioned how like I know things, or you could be potentially valuable targets or whatever if you don't, do something for me. That ominous tone we were talking about.
Yeah,
Um, I could talk about what I hope for, which would be, like we were talking about more character moments, more growth development, more continuation of the main plot with Crosshair and the Kaminoans and all that. Um, I I kind of miss my evil boy Crosshair. It's been a
I do
while.
miss them. I love
Yeah.
Cross.
There was one other thing I was gonna say, like in the hopes department. Yeah, just generally seeing more of that main plot moving forward. More following the plot lines that we've already established instead of setting up new ones and ending them in the same episode, sort of thing. Basically, I think the Bad Batch should be the one carrying the show.
Yeah.
Not, ooh, Bib Fortuna was in that one. Ooh, Fennec is in this one. The Bad Batch should be holding up the show, and you could do that episode by episode by having them be the ones carrying the episode. And it's not like it hasn't been that at all. Like they're still the main characters, obviously, and they still, are the ones that we are with the most of the time. But just more growth or change within the group, and more development within them instead of just leaving them in the exact same place where they've been since episode one all the way through. Because then it's just like they're spectators. It's not. I don't know.
Honestly, yeah. Yep.
I just hope we can get away from the. My hopes for next episode and moving forward, at least, would be getting away from the type of filler where it's just a popular character or an old thing that everybody likes, and then that's it. That's the only purpose they serve.
Yeah,
I'm praying that Rex actually has a purpose here, and it's
that's
not
what I
just
was
hey,
gonna
it's
say.
Rex. Because if
Yeah.
it's just hey, it's Rex, my heart will be broken.
Yeah.
Um,
I do think he's like I think next episode we're gonna see him, but like you're saying, I don't think he's gonna be like in the same boat as Saul. I think he's gonna
yeah,
drive the plot forward, or at least I guess this is my hopes too. But Rex will come. Like maybe we'll get more inhibitor chip things. Maybe not. Maybe he'll help them like get their names cleared or something. But he like I feel like Rex and then team up, and they're gonna be doing something. That's what I
yeah.
think.
We might be a little biased though, because Rex is literally my favorite clone. So it's just a little.
Yeah.
Even if he ends up being kind of just I'll still be like, that was great, my favorite episode. I love Rex. But that was about everything I had. If unless you had anything else here, I think we'll wrap up for the
I'm
day.
dry. Yep.
All right. So episode 5, Rampage. Uh, what are your thoughts now that the next episode is out? By the time you're watching this, probably. Yeah, but we wanted to make sure we got the episode out at least. Even if like 5 people see it, that's fine. I don't really
Yeah.
mind.
Mhm.
But yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And we'll see you in a day or two for episode 6 reaction. So let's get excited for that. Goodbye.
Rancor later.
No,
Rankulate. No.
no.